Hey, hey y'all, how's it going? I'm trying something new. I'm at a slightly different angle. I just thought it might be help look at the violin, although it sort of chops my head off, but I don't know. And my background isn't as cool, but whatever. Let's see if it works. I'm trying to crank this video out for you. There's a lot to go over, and there's a lot of preparation that goes into this. I did play this piece in college, but I was mentioning to someone else that I think I played first violin because I don't remember all of this stuff. And that's not to say, oh, you know, I played first violin. We interchanged all the time. So anyone in the first violin section, next concert will be in the second violin section, and that they always moved us around, so we experienced different areas of the orchestra. But on this piece in particular, I think I was in the first violin section. It's hard no matter what. It's really hard, even in the second violin section. So the speed on these last two pages, which is what you wanted to talk about, is pretty insane. So, you know, working on accelerating it, I can do that further next week. Let's cover the basics, and I sent the fingerings for you to look at. Now, as I'm working through it, I'm noticing a few things that a few changes that I want to add to that. Okay, so let's see how I can show you with my camera up there. I'm not sure. Anyway, let's see. Oh, some little things. Okay, so I'm looking at the last two pages. All right, so if we look at, you know, here we have the last two pages. I'm going to look at this first one first and just show you a little tiny thing down here at the bottom. Right here, this little section where you have these little da 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 da. Because it's so fast, it's a little bit hard to tell when it's time to do that last one, which is why I sort of try to mark each of the up bows and just the red one for the one you change on, and maybe you can just follow the up bows instead of trying to watch every single teeny tiny note right there. But I also noticed that it's going it's in two groups of four. So da 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 dee da dee da dee da dee da da dum, something like that. No. Dee dum dee dum dee dum ding dum dun 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 ding dum da da dum. Okay, so I don't know if you're comfortable feeling in groups of four. A lot of music, especially in a duple meter, is in groups of four. So, for example, those are little groups of four, right? So we're very comfortable with that. And sometimes it's spread out a little wider, but this is another group of four down here. And that's two of them stuck together, okay? Little thing. Now the other thing, oh, yeah, you're not gonna love this. But depending on how fast it is, hold on a second. I'm going to circle this so you can see it. Okay, so I'm talking about the very last page, and I'm looking at this section right here. It's not even this section that I've got the change in. It's for this prestissimo section right here. So originally I had you guys just staying in first position, and you can do that. And if you're not having any trouble in first position in that section, then just leave it. It's cool. But if you are struggling because it's a little bit just back and forth on the string, and it can be really seriously fast. What I ended up doing was shifting right here on this C sharp at the very end of this long run, that C sharp, to put my first finger there and jump into second position, okay? And then play, here I added a 4 right here. Let's see if I can show you that better. So in other words, just play all of that in second position. And in that way, it's all in one place. So it looks like this. It doesn't work in third. You still have to change strings in third. I tried it. It would be great if it did, but there's a C sharp in there, so. Oh, wait. Okay, so I wonder how you can, I hope that you can see that pretty good. Let me do that for you again. So, I will play the very last group of 8. So starting right here, I'm going to do it slowly though so that you can see it. I'll do that slow and you'll see me shift and I'll play that a little slower so you can see the fingers. Okay, so you have... Okay, let me do that again. And then you do that, you repeat that so many times, and then still shift into fourth position where it says to go to the 1. So that would be, right, so you're in 2nd position and those measures repeat. So you just stay there, and then here where it was marked originally, to go ahead and shift into 4th position. And I know that seems like a little bit of overkill, but you need to be there for this. Okay, so let's go on and talk about my other recommendations. So that was my change. I think that if you give that fingering a try, you may find it's easier. The shift is not that hard. Okay. Whoa. Okay. So I'm going to start talking on this, next to last page. We're going to start here. So over here at the Allegro Mano Troppo or whatever it says, Tanto. All right, hi ho Tanto. It's very quiet, and I haven't decided yet which parts are bouncing. I don't have this up to full tempo to show you yet. I've gotten close, but I'm not ready to show it to you yet, and so I'm still trying to determine if it's bouncy or not. I hope it's not. For now, I would practice this in the bouncing point, really, really small. It's pianissimo, so very, very tiny. You barely even want to hear it at all. Super tiny, and keep it sort of in this lower middle area. And I am way over on the fingerboard and tilted because it's so quiet. And Beethoven has a lot of these sections where they're super pianissimo, or you might see 3 or 4 piece, and he really means it. And with a whole orchestra, the conductor will probably tell you, so be quieter, and you'll feel like you're barely playing at all. So tiny. It still has to be precise though, which is the tricky part. It's a lot faster than that, I know. In measure 772, so check out measure 772. I marked C sharp right there, and that's important because that first line that I just played for you, you have C natural marked in there locked. And then when you get to 772, the C you have in there is C sharp, and it sounded better to me playing it with a C natural. It felt sort of right, but it's actually sharp, so it sounds kind of funny. Okay, after playing all those C naturals that you had previously. So keep that in mind. And the same idea and measure in that second line. Okay, once you get into the straight notes, I'm sure or just the A's. Hopefully you're counting groups of 4. 1 E and a 2 E and a 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 1 E and a 2 E and a, right? And keeping track of it that way. So as you get to S, I had marked in the 2 beats before S to do left hand pizzicato. You don't have to do that, but if you're struggling to land at S on time, you could just pluck that with your left hand. So just those 2 notes. So everything else you pluck normally, something like that. It doesn't have to be big. Because it's just an open A, so that's possible if that would make your life easier. Okay, moving on after S. Okay, after S, then we get closer to 806. That is a nasty little run. And at the speed that it says, I'll be honest with you, I don't have it up to that speed yet. That is a nasty little run. It's likely that it might be slightly bouncy. So I did provide a fingering for you, and I would roll with that. So I mentioned in my email that I changed it so that you guys, to play open E here. So this is right before 806. Here's 806 for you. Let's see if I can get that. Hey, how do I hold this up here? Okay. Hold still, a little paper. This is weird. Okay. 806. All right. So right before that, basically we need to get in a second position for this because these are octaves and this works well in second position. You may not love it, but it does. It does not work well in first position. It is way too fast. There's too many string changes. We've got to eliminate the string change. So you got to go into second position here. And then you're going to have to come down and you're going to have to go back up. And it's so awkward and there's just not a better way. So there's a lot of shifting. It's super awkward, but so we need to get into second position probably as early as we can. So over here, when you play, this is not so bad. This area, you can get through this, no big. And when you are playing this open E, you're gonna shift up to second position right here. Now, the only thing to look out for is that your 2 plays the A, your 1 is on G natural. Then the next thing you know, your 2 is over here playing this G that's really getting you prepared to start this dealio, okay? But your 1 in second position here needs to be on F sharp. So over here, your 1 is on G natural. Over here, your 1 needs to be on F sharp. So you need to allow your hand to move up that half step, at least your 1, okay? And it's a little difficult to get that in tune. Let's see if I can play it for you. So I'm starting in measure 804. So 2 measures before your favorite spot, 806. Okay, here it is. I'll do it slow so you can see. Okay, so right now my 1 is on G natural. So notice what my 1 just did. Let me show you that again. So hopefully you saw my 2 jumped over. That is in the same place. But then I sort of snuck my 1 and my thumb up a little bit. Okay, so one more time, I'll show you that. Calm down. Sorry, I was trying to play that from memory and look at my fingers. I cannot play it from memory. But yes, then you come down. So as soon as you hit that open D after you're in second position, you come down to first position. So one more time. So this one, that last note there, I have an X1. So that would be the downbeat of the pogo adagio, or the last note of that run. If you're playing the top and you're already in third position for those last few notes, instead of shifting, I would just reach back that half step. Your 1 is already on D, and then you're just trying to get to C sharp, which is just right behind it, right? So instead of a big old shift, you could just reach back for that note. So that brings me to another point that I'm going to talk about, divided notes or chords. There's a lot of those in here. So I'll get to that. So work on this fingering. It's the best fingering I could find for you. It's not awesome. It's still hard. I mean, honestly, the hardest part that I find is the part that's in first position. This part in the middle of it where you're in first position and you've got to go from the E, you know, from here down to the G string, up to the E string and back all over. That, I mean, not that that is that hard in itself, but at the speed, it's like ridiculous. This note ends up not really speaking so far when I'm drilling through it. You know, I don't try to hit it really hard. I just try to get back up to there. So, yeah. So what else? Okay. So divided notes. There's a lot of things where there's divided notes. Where was I going to talk about that? Where you have double notes a lot. For example, at T, okay? Section T. It doesn't say divisi, but you should play it divisi. Just pick one. And I really just did fingering for the top. So, and anywhere else where you can, so they're sort of here and there, just pick one note. Don't stress yourself out trying to play two. Nobody's ever going to hear it. Okay, so. And then that same section at 828, you would do the same thing. Oh, okay, so wait. So headed into 828, where it's the same thing. I didn't put all the markings here that I did up here. So, you know, do the same fingering. If you do practice that, you should do the same fingering here. If you need to write it in, by all means, write it in. Okay, make your life easier. And then, for example, what was I going to say? Oh, right before that, over here, you've got double notes. Don't even try. Just do one. And do the one that helps you stay in position. So what I did here was leading up into this section again. It's very, very similar, but this is a little different. And so what I did was the same shift. And then I put my one on the C sharp, the bottom note, because that sets me up to do this. So if it were me, that's what I would do. That's why I put sharp one right there. It didn't come out very clear, so I apologize for that. But, and then if you feel like you can add the E later, great, but it's like really of minimal importance. It's more important that you set your hand up to be ready to play the rest of that, okay? So that's my advice on that. And again, here, Lincoln's waking up already. You're cruising along, you go up into third position. Here it changes a little, right? And so I would just stay in third position, and I chose to play the top note because it's easier, but you could choose whatever you want to do as you finish that run, okay? Notice that I highlighted this key change. Just keep that in mind, and I marked a few of those crucial notes. Like this is a little funny, that first note is D sharp and then regular D, so I did it with just like a low one and then open D. Okay, so let's move on to the last page. Okay, so the last page isn't as crazy. Well, the top part anyway. Okay, so I did mark to play this with an open A. That's not something I would typically do when you have an octave like that, but I would recommend that you shift here and use that open A in order to do that, okay? So I shifted to third position, and this really works in third position a lot better than first position, so I think it's worth it. And then here you're just still in third position. I have you coming down here, but you could come down anywhere in here. So while you're just playing those A's, one E and a two E and a, feel free to shift down anywhere you want. Just keep count of where you are so that you're ready to go here, okay? And come on down. So now let's go on and talk about, as you get into 890, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96. Okay, 896. I mean, that's a lot of measures, people. So I'm talking about as you have these long double notes, okay? And we get into this, okay? I just chose a note and I chose the top. playing this open E right here, and then shifting and playing that same E in third position. And the only reason is to get yourself ready to play that. So I'm just trying to get up there while I'm doing these easy notes, okay? So 2 here, and then I'm playing the top here. So 3, 4, and then all of these fingerings that I gave you. So keep in mind that what I'm telling you to do is basically play all of this in third position, okay? Third position. Don't try to shift into fourth position. You won't have time because you have to come back down. So play this as a harmonic E. So you're just stretching. I'll play it for you, okay? You're just stretching, and then your 3, your 1, your 4, everything else is already in third position. And then for this C sharp, you're just gonna, again, do that extension, that reach back of your first finger to the C sharp. It's not a shift, you're just stretching that a little bit. Then you hit open A, and again, back to that harmonic. So your hand never shifts out of third position, and you just sort of keep all those notes as the same. Okay, so I'll show you that. Okay, so I'll start 2 measures before the harmonic E in 896. So I'll start 895, 894. So right where you shift into third position. So you have right, so now I'm in third position. Let me do that again. Reach, curve, reach back. I lost my spot. Sorry. Okay. So I'm trying to make sure that you can see my fingers, and then I lose my spot on the page. Okay, so let me do that for you one more time. This time I'm not going to look up at you, and I'm just going to play through it so you can watch my fingers. Okay, so 394. Here we go. Okay. All right. So I hope you could see all of that really well. I did notice a nasty little spot, which is 904, and it looks really innocent, but 904 right here, this little deal right here is not a big, but there's 3 of the D's right there, and it's just hard to sort of figure out how many I don't know, it's confusing for your bow and fingers to get it all in the right timing and know when to change the note. So I ended up, as I was sort of working through it, I need to feel, let me show you. I can't count the 3 D's just like as if they're one thing. They're not. I want to feel the first group of 4 as one thing, so that includes the first D. And then the next 2 D's start the next group of 4, right? So I put a little accent on the second one to feel that beat and sort of have some sort of a separation between the first 4 and the second group of 4. So it would sound something like this. Okay, so here we go. Now that's just slow practice, but I'm still going to emphasize it in my slow practice so I get used to it. Okay, because you kind of get used to playing the first 2 notes as 2. In most of those ideas, you play that a lot, da, 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 all over the place. But because those 2 overlap, it feels like you have 3 and it's confusing. So hopefully that's helpful to you. Okay. Okay, so I talked about the shift into second position for the prestissimo at the bottom of the page. And I do recommend you going up to second and then going up to fourth, and then you get to come on back down. So here, just staying in fourth position and playing this on the A string, you know, you go up over here, you're in fourth position, and then here you just stay there and you play this on the A string, and go ahead and play this as a harmonic, or your fours on it, open A, and then you can come down. Okay, just come on back down to first position. So I hope that that is helpful, and we can talk about speeding it up next time on this if that's what you want to do, but work on the fingerings first. That's definitely tricky. Okay, so I hope this helped. Talk to you soon. Good luck.